Hello, everybody! Week 5, I believe, the RQA Draft League. Yeah, Week 5. This week we go up against the Leafy Knicks. Arky Dan is the owner. This video is going to be slightly delayed getting out because this matchup is happening late Sunday evening on the last night of when battles can take place, so I will probably have this video out Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. But that's okay. Let's see where we're sitting right now. We're at 1-3. Leafy Knicks are at 2-2, so this is a big swing matchup for us. If we lose today, we would go to 1-4, and that wouldn't take us out of the running for the playoffs, but it would probably mean we need to win out from here on, based on our differential and stuff, unless we had a couple of 6-0 wins, which not super confident that can happen at this point, given how the season's gone, and given like our team has a serious weakness to ground types and that whole thing. But yeah, so what we have this week, and you will see that Terapagos, he's actually listed back on my roster, but I don't think Terapagos doesn't actually take place until next week. It's just that because it's Sunday evening, he is currently on the summary screen but Terapagos really doesn't join our team till next week, so we'll talk about that next week. For this week, though, against Arky Dan, he has quite a strong roster with some scary Pokemon that really bug the living daylights out of me, such as Baxcalibur, who is bulky and cannot get hit by fire types, making Torkoal and Incineroar a little less useful. He's got Galarian Slowking, which drives me batty, and it kicked my butt in another one of my battles in my other league. Hopefully Galarian Slowking doesn't come to be as much of a problem here, because we do have plenty of Pokemon that can learn things like Knockoff and some physical dark attacks. Sneasler, if we can outspeed and hit it hard, we might be able to take it out. Alomomola is a great pivot with Regenerator. Ogerpon, can hit hard. I'm not super worried about it, but in the wrong spot, it could really do a lot of damage to a lot of our team. And then some Terra Captains, Goodra Lilligant. Steel-type Goodra isn't always my favorite, but we'll see what happens. But let's go over to the roster, because I'm actually feeling really good. I'm switching up my strategy a bit this week across the board, so let's take a look. So this week, I am going with a very interesting... So what you might have noticed from his team is he does not have the fastest team. So what I am able to do this week is put a little less investment into speed and a little bit more investment into defensive, special defense, whatever I need to counter his Pokemon. So what we have here is Blue Ball carrying a Life Orb this week. That will give it a little bit more attack power, because what I did was I gave it plus speed, so it'll outspeed absolutely everything on his team. But that means we cannot give it plus special attack, so its base special attack stat is fairly low. So what we do here is we give it the Life Orb and give it the Psychic Terra type. My goal would be actually, if he leads Great Tusk, we can lead Electrode, go immediately into the Terra Psychic, and do a little more than half damage on that Great Tusk. If Great Tusk uses Headlong Rush, I think it's a roll, but we can still live it. If we die to it, the Aftermath does damage to Great Tusk. I think we actually do live unless he is Choice Banded, is the calc I had done. But he might not lead with Great Tusk. We'll have to see what he's bringing with him before we decide how we want to lead. But yeah, I'm going max defense investment, because this thing is going to need to help me with Great Tusk, because we don't have any other Psychic types. Then we're going to have Bojack the Glastrier, the other Terra type, which is Ground. Depending on how this battle goes, we could also see a Terra out of Bojack, though I'm planning to Terra Electrode more likely. We are going with a Swords Dance Protect Leftovers set this week, going with the max special defense, the max HP, and we're doing 8 with the plus on the defense, so it's pretty balanced defensively, but if we can get one Swords Dance off, it becomes even scarier offensively as well. And then obviously the neighing ability gives us even more attack power after that. I like Avalanche just because it's 100%, and Glastrier is so slow that half the time we're going to be doing 120 damage because of the damage boost from Avalanche from getting hurt first. And I've been bamboozled by the Icicle Crash one too many times despite its 90% accuracy. Then we've got our pure speed attackers, but with more bulk once again. We have Jeff, who this week will have 176 investment into the HP category, plus speed and a lot of investment in special attack, just enough to make sure our booster energy hits it on the special attack and not the speed, because I don't think we'll need much extra speed with Walking Wake. We are going Scald, Dragon Pulse, and Roar in case he tries to set up Barring a Dragon Dance from Excalibur, I think we can outspeed most things and roar them away if we need to. That also helps us with like Great Tusk getting a Photosynthesis boost. If he has the booster energy, we can kind of cancel out booster energy. We are going booster energies though this week on both Jeff and Fettuccine. And I have Scald because I don't think we're going to see any Sun this week, so I might as well just go for the chance of burning. And the Dragon Pulse because I do not really like using Draco Meteor when we only get the booster energy boost one time. Knockoff is for protection against, like, we don't have the best attack, but it's for protection against that Slowking and etc. Fettuccine, Earth Power, Flash Cannon, Thunderbolt as its attacks. It has got almost max speed, so we will get we'll get the speed boost from our booster energy this week. And I'm giving it Thunder Wave. I'm going to bring quite a few Pokemon with abilities to status things so that we can slow his team down, chip away at his team. Like I said, we're being a bit more defensive this week. Even Fettuccine has 88 HP investment for defense investment, just to make sure we can take a hit on switch-ins. Since I'm not bringing, as you can see, I'm not bringing Toxapex or anything, so we don't have a lot of ways to pivot. We just got to attack. That being said, I Hardly Know Her instead of the Unburden this week. I'm going in an Assault Vest I Hardly Know Her. The benefit of Sneasler is that with Poison Touch and Fake Out, we can get immediate poisons, or if you throw in Dire Claw, we could get a sleep in there, but also potential chance of poisoning with Dire Claw. Our chances of poisoning are super high with this setup, and he will not expect the special defense from the Assault Vest, and then I can give 252 defense EVs, making this thing able to take a hit, not dish out max damage, but it will outspeed. It can come in and out. I don't have to keep it in. I can just bring it in against Pokemon, Fake Out, try to get the poison, and then switch back out. I really actually like, I'm enjoying trying out this Sneasler set this week. We'll see how it goes, but I like it. And then last but not least, since I don't have a lot of pivots or defensive Pokemon, I am going with a Frank E, the Metagross, with very bulky defensively. That way we can use Body Press as an attack. Also, full HP investment. The reason you always see 248 EVs instead of 252 is it's more economical to have an odd number of HP than an even number. If you have an even number HP, it is divisible in most cases by like 12 or 16. It makes it easier for you to die on moves like Toxic and Burning and stuff. If you have an odd number, you can live with 1 HP, or 3 or 5, depending on who the Pokemon is. It basically gives you an extra turn of life with all else equal. But yeah, and then I've got some special defense investment just so we don't get absolutely annihilated by an attack. I've also got the Light Screen and the Reflect with the Light Clay, so that can help us also bring other Pokemon in, especially like Glastrier if I want to set up. This is a different set than I usually use for Metagross. We'll try it out, see how it goes. But that's all, so definitely enjoy the battle, and this is a big one for us. We kind of need to win one of the next 2 weeks, or we need to win 3 of the next 4, but that's going to start taking pressure off us if we can win this week. So enjoy the battle. Alright everybody, here is our Week 5 battle post-mortem. Here we go. As you can see by the team, it is mostly what I expected here. I will talk through it without giving away any spoilers. But yeah, here we go. He does have the Great Tusk. I'm kind of planning for him to lead with that, and I am going to lead with Electrode as we discussed. He did bring a Lomomola, which was probably smart because I have 2 Pokemon that can hit that thing hard in the Fettuccine and the Blue Ball. I make my decision. He brings out the Slowking first, which I am surprised about, but that's okay. I go for the taunt so that he can't do any of his silly games with his slack-offs or his Chilly Reception. Actually, yeah, Chilly Reception won't work on the taunt. U-turns do work on things that trap you, but Chilly Receptions don't work on taunts because it's not attacking you. I then go for the Volt Switch, expecting him to go for the switch as well, and I'm thinking, hey, at least now I can see what he's going to go into. But he didn't switch. He goes with the Sludge Bomb. So, either way, I predicted wrong, but it ended up being right because I don't take any damage from Sludge Bombs. Now he brings in Great Tusk, very terrifying Pokemon. If he goes for Headlong Rush, he likely kills me. I actually had already gone for the Light Screen before he switched out. Or did I? Oh, I could not have gone for the Light Screen before he switched. No, I did go before the light screen before he switched out. He switched out, I go for light screen. I don't think I'm going to be able to outspeed and get off a reflect, so then I switch into Walking Wake. It doesn't really tell me what turn I'm on in these things, so... he goes for the Earthquake on the switch in. I take a little less than half damage, which is fine because now I'm max special attack and I'm going to outspeed a good chunk of his team. I do predict the switch and go for the knockoff, which turns out to be smart. No more heavy duty boots for the Slow King. And this time he does go for the Chilly Reception, which makes me fear a little bit that Baxcalibur because it has raised defenses, but instead he does go for the Hydreigon. I don't know if the Hydreigon will outspeed or not, so for whatever reason, I go for the Roar, thinking, hey, if it tries to set up, let's at least get it out of here, and if it doesn't, it just kills me anyway. I find out I do outspeed Hydreigon, and it unfortunately puts him back into Slowking, but the Scald on Slowking is amazing, because now he doesn't have his heavy-duty boots, which if I can get Stealth Rocks down will be important, and he is burned, so he's going to lose HP slowly, so while he can slack off, and while he can get the regen healing, it overall just, it makes me a little bit more confident that I can take this thing out, even with a special attacker instead of a physical attacker. I do find out here his final move is Slack Off, so we know he has Future Sight, Sludge Bomb, Slack Off, and Chilly Reception. No Psychic or anything that can hit me in the moment other than the Sludge Bomb, which doesn't do a ton to most of my team. So then I go back into Metagross, and he goes for the Sludge Bomb again. I thought he was going to switch out, so I once again was trying to also get the switch. But now because... I knew about that Future Sight too, and I know we take it well. I forgot that happened, that he had used that. But now I'm able to set up my Reflect as well. This Ogerpon is quite obviously a terrifying Pokemon because its Ivy Cudgel is fire, but we can get the Reflect back up, and now I'm kind of trying to decide if I know I can take one Ivy Cudgel through a Reflect. I won't be able to take two, so I decide here to go for the Light Screen and get the Light Screen back up so that whatever comes in after Frankie, I'm kind of expecting Frankie to die, and I'm just like, okay, whatever comes in after Frankie, we'll just have these screens up and we can start really hitting back. But I actually do live a 2x attack Ivy Cudgel because of the Reflect. So that gives me a chance to body press it and take away about 34% of its health. And I'm planning to go down this turn and I'm not playing the switch. And he goes for Play Rough, thinking I'm going to switch into something that can hit the Ogerpon, but I just stay in because I'm at this point willing to lose Metagross, which allows me to take away another 36% of his health and get a Bullet Punch in before I officially get taken out. So now his Ogerpon's down to 17%. Unless it outspeeds me, which it doesn't outspeed like a Sneasler or anything, thanks to my Fake Out, I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that trade-off. I have screens up for 3 and 4 more turns. I come in knowing I outspeed for sure with Sandy Shocks because of the Photosynthesis. That's why I opted not to go Sneasler yet. And he on the switch in goes with Hydreigon. I go for the Thunderbolt, showing that the Hydreigon is somewhat bulky. It only took 23%. It does resist, Hydreigon's just a good Pokemon. I know I'm outspeeding once again because I outsped with the Walking Wake, so I go for the Thunder Wave to make sure this Hydreigon doesn't become an even bigger issue in the future if it's able to Dragon Dance, or I don't know if it can learn Calm Mind, but basically anything like that I'm worried about. And actually on the switch, he switches into Lilligant that turn after the U-turn, and I go for the Paralysis again. This was part of my plan, was bring Pokemon that can cause status ailments so it can make it even harder for him to get his attacks off on me. And so far, I have nothing that can necessarily take on this Lilligant with Fettuccine, but I don't want to switch out and lose my speed boost right now, and because Lilligant is paralyzed, I'm not as worried about it. I also don't think it can have anything that will... Grass-type attacks obviously hurt me, but I was just hoping to get as much as I can on it. Once I realize that my Thunderbolt's only going to do 29%, I do switch into Bojack so I can go for the Avalanche, hoping he doesn't go Fire Terra, but also knowing that if he goes Fire Terra, I can go Ground Terra. He clearly planned to have to take on the Dragon types, and he goes Fairy Terra, and gets a crit on the Giga Drain, which is quite frustrating in my opinion. It actually does come back to play a big role in this battle by the end, because I go for the Avalanche here, thanks to the damage, he loses a lot more health than he would have because I've already taken damage from him. By the way, a lucky couple of paralysis there. He now switches. I should have here gone just for an attack because he was either going to die or hurt me a little bit more. I went for the protect. It ends up being no harm, no foul, but just like a weird decision on my part to go for the protect, and also a foreshadowing to the future uses of that move. Now I go for the ground type Terra high horsepower, and he stays in. I'm not sure if he knew I brought ground Terra. We do have Terra preview on, but that's huge because that Slowking, I despise Galarian Slowking so much, and I'm very happy to see that thing going down. So next he goes into the Ogre Pawn, which I am expecting either a Horn Leech here to heal himself, or maybe the Trailblaze to get a speed boost, but then I'm thinking, and the Trailblaze doesn't help him much because he dies in one hit and the Trailblaze won't kill. So really I'm thinking he's going to go Horn Leech, and I'm calculating out that I'm going to lose roughly half my health. He'll get roughly half his back, but I think I take him out anyways with that health that he gets back. But he actually goes for the Power Whip here, which shocked me, but I get the lucky miss once again. That's why I hate any move that's less than 100% accuracy. It always comes back to bite you when it matters most. So I get the Avalanche without taking damage. I'm feeling real good now because we are up to, like, I think 80%, 78% health. Yeah, 78% health. 2 times attack on a Pokemon with leftovers and high defenses and high special defenses based on EVs. And he goes into the Great Tusk, which I think is odd, but I plan to Avalanche it. Turns out he was just baiting me to make sure I would attack him and not set up even further. And he just lets Lilligant go down. Unfortunately for him, like, that does, in a way, let me set up because I do get the Chilling May 2.5 attack boost. So Glastrier is going off right now. We've got 3 kills with Glastrier. I'm feeling good, but he was looking to go straight into his Baxcalibur. This is his last real hope. If you look at his team, Hydreigon's strong, but it is paralyzed, so it's not outspeeding my team. Great Tusk, I'm obviously not switching out Glastrier now that I've got this attack, so Great Tusk goes down to an Avalanche and does not kill me at my current health. It comes down to this. His only chance is to kill me here. I am trying to decide, do I go for a Protect and get the extra 6% leftover healing to make sure I live? It looks like 4 Icicle... So, the situations that I could run into are, he's got Ice Shard. Ice Shard will kill me if it hits... I think it's like 87% chance of killing me if it hits 5 times. It's like 12% chance of killing me if it only hits 4 times. So it's a roughly 50% chance to kill with Ice Shard. If I Protect, I am more likely to live. Otherwise, so that would be Loaded Dice Baxcalibur. If it's some other version of Baxcalibur, he would have Icicle Crash, which doesn't likely doesn't kill me. Alternatively, on my end, Avalanche, if he doesn't hit me, Avalanche does, like, I think, not even half his health. If he does hit me, it does close to, I think, maybe 3/4 of his health, maybe even more on a high roll. If he doesn't hit me and I go high horsepower, I do kill at 2.5 times attack. But I didn't know this. I calced all of this after the fact. So in the moment, I don't calc this. I'm just going off what I'm thinking in my head. Turns out high horsepower would have killed him here. Most likely, I think it's like a 90% chance of killing him. Avalanche, and in the moment, I'm thinking Avalanche or Protect. I actually go for the Protect, and he does the worst thing possible and goes for the Dragon Dance. This is big pivot, big change point in the game. He goes Dragon Dance. He now outspeeds pretty much everything on my team, most likely, unless he doesn't have like the full speed investment. He also hits very hard. And he does go Icicle Spear next turn, which now at his 1.5 attack just murders me. There's no chance of me living after that. So that's not good. I should have, in hindsight, gone straight up and just high horsepowered him there. But that's why you play the games. You can't just do it on paper. High horsepower would have killed. I'm now just testing to see how much speed he really has at 1.5 speed, and I find that it is enough to take down a 360-something speed Voltorb. So I'm screwed. I have no way to outspeed this thing, and he is one-shotting everything. I go into the Fettuccine thinking maybe I can, like, I don't know, mess with his mind, get him to not go for Ice Spear. Maybe he'll think I'm double switching. It doesn't matter, no. He's doing the smart play and just attacking until I tell him otherwise. So now my only chance is Sneasler. I need Sneasler to fake out this Baxcalibur, get a poison, do something. I likely don't live even with a poison, but I mean, I've got to get damage on this thing. I've got to hope, I got to do something and just pray at this point. I get the fake out, no poison from the poison touch. I never even got to use Sneasler, which is kind of disappointing because I did like this setup on it, but it just gets annihilated by an Earthquake. And now game over. I'm not outspeeding this thing, and it's going to kill a Walking Wake who's at 50% health. So, moral of the story is I once again beat myself. Obviously, my opponent made the smart play, the correct play, but all the luck this game is on my side. I can't blame luck. He got very unlucky with paralysis, burn, missing a power whip. Like, all the luck was on my side. And because of that, I had a 5-3 advantage with a 2.5 attack Glastrier. I did find out after the battle exactly what I told you, that high horsepower would have killed this Baxcalibur, because I was at 2.5 attack. And I probably don't die. Like, the choices I had, I went with the more risky choice. I don't know why I did that. It's just, in my head, based on what I'm used to for VGC, it always helps to go for Protect for a turn just to stall it out. Because you're blocking potentially 2 attacks, not 1. Protect this time was the wrong decision, and it was the wrong decision the whole time. Not even like in hindsight, but probably the whole time I should have not gone Protect. I should have just attacked. I was on the offensive anyway. The Calyx show I would have killed. This is definitely the hardest loss for me, though definitely the most disappointing loss for me because I was in the driver's seat and I needed this win. I don't want to get too down because we still have a chance at playoffs. I just got to win out, and I say just, but like there's unlikely that happens. But I'm playing the games. I'm gonna take them seriously, you know. Gotta win. Gotta try to win. Yeah, that's what happened though. I continue to talk about how I'm so used to either playing VGC with the timing and not really calcing mid-game, or even in Showdown, it's like you're using a timer when you play random Showdown battles online. So if I had just slowed down and calc there, I would have known exactly what I need to do instead of just going off my apparently crap instincts. But I didn't, so I lose. As you can see, clearly disappointing. Like a 3-0 loss when I was up 5-3 is awful because, honestly, I kill that Baxcalibur. He's got a paralyzed Hydreigon, which cannot kill it can't Terra, so it dies to an Avalanche. And then the Great Tusk, which normally could have like close combat or something, can't kill because I'm now Ground Terra on Glastrier. I win this. I win 5-0 if I make the right play there. And that was a turning point, and it killed me. I mean, that was a painful loss for sure. Props to my teammate because he kept his head on. Despite all the unluckiness, he kept his head in the game. He went for the Dragon Dance knowing his only chance was to outspeed and hit hard the rest of the game, and it paid off for him because he needed me to mess up, and I did. So, yeah, back at it next week, but not looking great for the first season of RQA. We'll hopefully get some luck in here to just... So, I don't mean just the luck in this game, I mean like across the board we need the right people to win, the right people to lose. Big winning margins, big losing margins for certain people. Like, we'll see what happens with the standings. Probably not making playoffs, but I'm going to try. Thank you all for watching, and I promise next season of RQA, if I am so allowed to be in it, I will do better. But for now, let's battle for those playoffs. Could we? Clap your hands also.